Welcome back, everyone, to another week of Hello, Ladies, Feminism and Pro Wrestling. I am one of your hosts, Sabrina.
And I'm Megan.
And so we had a very busy week in wrestling. I think WWE and AEW are trying to kill us wrestling fans with the amount of content and like big stuff. Yeah. But so we're going to talk today about Bash at the Beach and the Royal Rumble. And I guess we're going to start with Bash at the Beach. And we're starting a fun, hopefully, new segment of a show and tell. And I have of like wrestling merchandise that we have collected. Starting off, I have these are little sticker books. Both of them have Dean Ambrose on the cover, but it's back when the Shield was still a thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of Daniel Bryan. We got John Cena. We have a Rusev with his long hair when he was the Bulgarian Brute. A Gold Dust.
Wow.
Lots and lots of Dolph Ziggler. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And Bray Wyatt when he was like the Funhouse guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
As you can see, lots of Bray Wyatt.
Oh, wow.
And we have two different kinds of Sheamus as well. There's the Mohawk and the whatever came before the Mohawk. I don't know what you'd want to call it. Gotcha. The lobster head.
Yeah.
Which I heard he wants to go back to that music, which I'm not against. I really liked his lobster head music.
Yeah. Too many limes. Yeah. That one.
Yep. Which I never heard any of the weird things until people put it in my head, and now that's all I hear.
I always just heard too many limes.
Yeah. Is it too many lines?
I have no idea what it really is. I couldn't even tell you.
I don't know. But yeah. All right. So Bash at the Beach.
Yes.
Did you get to see that? Because our recording last time ran into that. Well, I'll just touch on it briefly then. The Cody Rhodes and Sami Guevara match was absolutely amazing and insane. Sami Guevara has amazing core strength, which you can see in this one spot, but it was...
I did see the cutter from the ladder to the ladder. Like I've seen that spot. It's everywhere. I mean, I've seen that like a dozen times, and that was actually when I thought someone was being murdered downstairs. When I heard, and oh my god, that was during that move.
Someone was basically being murdered downstairs.
Yeah, pretty much. After seeing it, I was like, okay, someone was being murdered.
Yeah, some of those spots I was just like, my god. That's my best JR right now.
You're full JR.
Yeah. Like there were a couple of moments when I was watching that I was like, oh, my pearls. Clutching them.
Sometimes sometimes AEW matches, like I'm a little squeamish, and sometimes I have a hard time finishing some of those matches. There's a few that I'm like, okay, I'm good for now. Like
yeah, no, I'm the same way. I always feel like a terrible wrestling fan. Like death matches are not my thing. No.
Like I'm sure Nick Gage is awesome, but I will never be able to watch one of his matches. I couldn't do it. I'm just too like the pizza cutter thing alone. Even thinking about it, I can't. Yeah.
Like I just felt my stomach turn when he said that. I was just like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Do not remember that visual, Sabrina.
I didn't watch it. I honest to God, that Jericho and the Jericho match with him, I was like on my phone. I'm like, okay, nope.
I saw the pizza cutter going towards his head, and I know what, like, I didn't have to see anything else. Oh, nope. But I did see the Domino's ad right next to it, which that amused me.
I don't think there's been a Domino's ad on since. I think they made good on their promise to not advertise anymore.
Yeah, like I understand. Like,
who would want
a slap in the face for a sponsor?
It was just, I don't know if it was perfect planning because it was hilarious, or if it was just very poor timing. But
yeah, it'd be like selling, I don't know, like an animal, like, I don't know, dog food, and then kicking the dog down the steps, which no one should ever do that. But like, that was the first thing that came to mind, and I should go to therapy for that.
Shouldn't we all?
To be fair, I was in therapy and I graduated from it. So, which I didn't know one could do, but I did it.
I didn't know that was a thing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of myself. Yeah. So I will say one thing about Bash at the Beach. The bookends of it were phenomenal. I don't think, other than like the MJF and Wardlow CM Punk bit.
CM
Monk. It's his new character. He's going real peaceful.
CM Punk the Airbender.
Yeah. They figured the Alexa Bliss stuff is going over so well in WWE. They'd like a little supernatural stuff happening themselves. So yeah. So other than that, like those three, everything else, like not that great. Not that memorable.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even remember what else was on that show except for like Cody and Sami and then the lights out match. I'm so with wrestling this week, I couldn't even tell you what else was on that show.
I know Britt Baker had a talking segment.
Oh yeah, where she had her. Was that when she had the awards out?
Yes.
Was
yeah.
that one? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. And or was that? Yeah, pretty sure. And then there was, I think Jade Carhill had a match. Or was it no? Or what? Yeah, I think it was Velvet Sky and what is her name? Leela Hirsch?
Yeah, Hirsch.
Which yeah, that did happen because I remember texting with you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not the greatest stuff in between.
No, very not memorable because I'm even blanking. It's gone out of my head already.
Yeah. But that lights out match.
I know.
Even though it's one of those things where you know how it was going to end, or who the victor would be, rather, not how it was going to end. Adam, and obviously my favorite part was when Danhausen was pulled out from under the ring.
So awesome.
Danhausen is the first indie wrestler that I've ever been like behind, knew who they were, and was like, this person needs to be signed, and in this case specifically to AEW.
Not A&W.
Yeah. And I lost my freaking mind. It was beautiful. And I'm in a Facebook group that his parents are in, and they were just so sweet. Like they were so proud of their kiddo. It was magnifique all around. And Danhausen clearly cursed Adam Cole, and that's why Adam Cole lost. And it was beautiful because like in real life, and also Danhausen said in an interview, him and Orange Cassidy are friends. They have if you YouTube the two of them, there's a match that comes up that is wonderful. It has like a little cinematic beginning, like Danhausen on, what are they called, an escalator. It's fantastic.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Yeah, that was, I had a feeling that there was going to be a debut. Obviously, I was wrong on who it was. Johnny Wrestling was not there. However, he did tweet out after that. He said something like, "I see you and I hear you, and like I promise like something soon," or some like you'll see some. I don't know the exact wording, but he was obviously watching because he heard all the Johnny Wrestling chants that broke out. And oh yeah, he said something about how like he like stepping away, it makes you fearful that people are going to forget who you are, and obviously like you haven't, and I see you and I hear you, and I promise like you'll see me soon. He didn't specifically say to AEW. However, I feel like that might be implied by saying like, I was watching the show, I heard you chanting on this show, and you know, like you might see me soon. Didn't say there, might be in general in wrestling, might be AEW, we don't know.
Yeah.
But you were right.
He's someone I wouldn't be surprised if after his kiddo is born and, you know, spends a couple of months with the baby, that if we see him do not a full Drew McIntyre, but like do a lot more indie stuff before we see him rock up in a larger promotion.
I'd love to see him do the G1. I think that would be just like, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's someone where his talent will translate wherever. And also, I kind of wonder, so no one's sure when or if Triple H will be coming back because of his health. So I think where Triple H is at is going to determine a lot of things for a lot of folks. Which
I agree 100%.
WWE should really reevaluate some things.
They're not going to until a certain someone retires or is carried out of there. Like,
Yes. But yes, the lights out match. Epic. Absolutely epic. Orange Cassidy gets his retribution, which is wonderful. And neither him nor Cole look weak from that match.
no, not at all.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of stuff the past, like I want to say 2 weeks, mocking Adam Cole's body.
Ugh.
And it is infuriating. It's infuriating when it happens to women and just the same when it happens to men. Like the stuff he does in that ring, most human beings can't do.
No. And the thing that really like, it burns me when I see people like go that he's too small and blah 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 and like, oh, Britt's bigger than him and yada yada. Like, Adam Cole is legitimately one of the nicest human beings on this planet. Like, he is just a nice person. Yeah, he plays a awful heel on TV, but he's just a nice human being. And I think of him like, I mean, odds are he isn't on Facebook like trolling AEW fan pages. Like, like looking, like scrolling, like, what are they saying about me? But I mean, even if you do see all that stuff, like, no matter what age you are or how confident you are, it does get to you. Like, you see, I mean, it's not 1987 where every wrestler has to be roided up and just a giant monster and like 6'4" and 300 pounds of muscle. Like, that's not modern wrestling. You don't have to be huge to be entertaining or believable. Like,
exactly.
and that's the thing. Like, yeah, he's not 6 foot tall like WWE build him. He is short, like he is shorter, but he's average height for a regular dude. Maybe
I
not
feel
for a
like he might
wrestler.
be even like an inch or so taller than a regular dude. But granted, when I saw him in person, he was elevated on a stage. And the only other guy I had to compare him to was Darby Allin. So maybe scratch what I said. I have no idea how tall he is.
I think I remember seeing that he's like 5'9", 5'10", like in that region.
Yeah.
Which I think is like just at average, like just the average height. Like, I think 5'5" is for a woman, and I think like 5'10" or something is for a man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm so sick of seeing it because it's all you see on any AEW page constantly within, like you said, like the last 2 weeks is just how skinny and blah blah blah. And it's like, the dude is one of the most talented wrestlers on the planet. You couldn't do a quarter of the shit that he does. Like, back off.
Yeah. And I saw the post that annoyed me the most was a picture of Adam Cole next to Beth Phoenix. And there were people tearing both of them to shreds because it was like, oh, compare these two bodies or something. And I was like, and my response is like, yes, they're both amazing at what they do. Like, both goals, both fantastic. Like, yes, I see the comparison there because I was not about to like play into this nonsense of ripping them apart. And also, like, nobody commented back on what I said, where I know if I had been like, fuck all of you, there would have been a war.
Yeah. I think I saw your comment. It got to the point where I just had to keep scrolling for like my mental health. I'm like, I can't keep looking at this because it's just making me angry. Like,
yeah. And I mean, Beth Phoenix is one, gorgeous, and two, like, she just keeps getting better. I think she also keeps getting better looking as she ages. I don't know. And like, she is aging, so it's not like she's doing like, extra things to herself.
Aging gracefully, I think, is the word that we try to use. Like,
There we go. And she just looks fantastic. Like whatever it is, like she is. I hope I age like her, honestly.
right? I mean, she's probably in her early 40s, right? I
I
would
think,
assume
yeah.
she's got
She's,
to be older than us.
yeah, I would think so. Um, let's see. So she is 41.
Okay, yeah, I figured. And she doesn't look it. I mean, if I just randomly saw her walking down the street and didn't know who she was, like didn't know she was a wrestler, I would think she was probably like early to mid 30s. Like, she
Yeah.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, she really does. Um, always depending on what kind of makeup they throw on her.
Yeah.
It's sometimes like they contour her terribly, but yeah, do you have
I
anything
think
else?
that I think the lighting has changed, but the makeup hasn't. I think that that is what the issue has been lately, because it's not only the one, like this is on WWE. It's not only the women that look like extra orange. I've noticed even with the guys. So I think that like something has changed somewhere and hasn't changed somewhere else.
They're using definitely, I think it's a yellow tint to some of the lights. Because it's
Mhm,
not always. It's like, especially when they're doing promos in the ring.
mhm,
Because Becky gets it, I feel like the worst because, or
mhm.
anyone who has like that beautifully cut jawline, it's just it's no good. It's no good
Yeah.
that light. Take it off.
Right.
Um, yeah. Um, is there anything you wanted to touch on? A more at Bash at the Beach?
So the ending of the lights out match, I've been seeing a lot of backlash about that. People have yeah, I've seen people like that they didn't like the ending of it. Not that Cole lost, like the hug thing that happened before they fell off. Like, people are complaining about that. Yeah, people, wrestling fans will complain about anything. I thought the ending
It
was great.
fits the gimmick.
Yeah, it was the perfect payoff. I don't know. I always say that nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans. Like,
Yeah,
that's, I
very
thought it was
true.
great. Just wanted to add that in. I don't see what the big deal was. Don't know why people were shitting on it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful.
Hmm.
Like, and not only that, but the where they landed, they definitely. Oh, I did love when the referee fell in at the end.
Yeah.
Killed me. Um, but they fixed the issue that they had before when Jericho was thrown off. Like they did what they needed to do. Although I mean, it was easier there because like
It was under.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like what it was, what he was going, what they were going through. Like we know that it's not going to be. It's going to. I don't want to say plywood, but you know,
Hmm.
there's not this expectation of certain colors in places, for lack of better
Yeah.
wording. But yeah,
It looked brutal. Like,
yeah. I mean, there was, I don't know where. I think it was Orange that was cut somewhere.
oh yeah.
I think one of them had like it wasn't a lot. I think it might have been Orange Cassidy's hand, maybe from
Oh yeah.
the steel chain, because those things
Yeah.
have rough bits on them, so he could easily scratch himself.
Hmm.
But there was a little bit of blood enough. So that was like, where is it coming from?
I remember that now. I think his hand was bleeding.
Yeah. Because I don't, it's so I'm bad with blood, but I want to know where it's coming from so I know where not to look.
I'm okay once it's there. I can't watch like the action of like being cut or anything like that. And then once they're bleeding, I'm fine. Like, I can still watch.
Nope. I will always think of the attitude era with Triple H in a steel cage match with just blood down his face and like, whoa. And I've always been like this. Like, I'm not good with blood in real life. I'm not good with my own blood. I almost fainted once when I worked in an ice cream shop. Someone cut their hand on a hot fudge container and they
Oof.
stuck it in my face because I was the person in charge at the time. It was not good.
Oh no.
When they say like, oh, that stuff won't affect you when it's an emergency, they're lying. They are lying, lying, lying. Because
Um,
I was trained in first aid and I remember like telling people, I'm like, if you get cut, don't come see me. Like, I need to be certified for my job. And I was like, if there's blood, there's a bone sticking out, I'm not your gal.
oof,
I'll
no.
call 911 for you and keep my eyes closed the whole time.
And not to get off topic, like we never ever do, but when I was younger, I was a CNA, and I thought about like going to nursing school to leave CNA and be a nurse until I found out that I'd have to give like IVs and shots and stuff. And that was the sole reason I didn't do it. I'm like, nope, I would never be able to stab anybody.
Aren't you also bad with like snot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there has been cases of emergent and like vomit and whatnot. Like I can't do vomit either.
Oh,
But I'm the opposite, that if there is like an emergency, something snaps and I get okay. I had a resident once that had a feeding tube and it popped out. So like all of their literal like stomach acid started coming out everywhere. And normally that would, yeah, it was bad. It just started coming out of his tube. And normally like I wouldn't be able to handle that, but something snapped in me and I like ran over and got everything plugged in where it was supposed to be and cleaned up all of his stuff. And because that could have burned him, like all of that could
yeah.
have, it was literal acid. And my whole thought was like, I have to make sure this kid's okay. And then after I was done, I was like, "Oop," like when it hit me, what just happened? I was like,
Stomach
"Ooh,
acid is
well."
really weird. Like,
Mhm,
because it's inside you, but and it has to stay in your stomach because if it goes anywhere else, bad things happen. It's so weird
yeah,
to me.
mhm.
Like, what are stomachs made out of? Organ. I know, but like,
Feel.
yeah, a lot of ew. Yeah. Anything else for Bash at the Beach?
Nothing I can really think of. I mean, Jade was badass again.
Yeah.
I like the whole just squat. Like I like her best when she just squashes and it's done. Like when she
Mm-hmm.
just comes in like a total beast and it's over. That's my favorite Jade.
Yeah, she is amazing. Everything about her, I love the way she looks. I love the attitude she has. I love that she's a very smart lady, and her makeup and like her outfits, like I just love her ring gear and that eyeshadow look she does. She's just
Hmm. Yeah.
goals.
I'm falling more in love with her each week. Like at first I wasn't sure, and the more I see her, the more I'm like, yeah, she's badass.
She has superstar written all over her.
Hmm. And she's
Um,
improving too. Like she still obviously needs work, like for longer matches. She really
mhm,
can't do like the 10+ minute matches yet, but they're getting better. She's going to be amazing. Like she's going to be top tier. Like I mean,
100%.
she already kind of is top tier, but I mean, she's going to be like Brit level. I say give it like 2 or 3 more years.
Hmm. And I think we're gonna see like whenever her contract comes up, she's gonna be another one that WWE comes knocking for 100%.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Now, whether or not it's a good idea for her to go is a conversation for whenever her contract's up, because who knows what the landscape will be like at that point.
True. True.
Like from year to year, who knows?
Great.
Um, and then of course we have the Royal Rumble, um, which started off with an amazing match.
Should I start now with my 20 minutes? I told you I'm going to go off about Seth's entrance. Because it was the best thing I've seen in wrestling all week.
Yeah, it was amazing, the match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Like it was coming out to with the shield stuff and like, oh, so good. So
Sabrina,
so
I'm
good.
not even lying. I heard that like first, like Sierra, like my mouth dropped open and I went, oh my God. Like I just screamed. And I immediately was messaging you. And that's why I was like, please excuse me when I gush for 20 minutes about this entrance on our podcast. It
Mhm.
was just brilliant. The psychology, like, oh my God, how they're not continuing on with these two and they're still going on with Brock and Roman when Seth and Roman is like so money right now. Like he has still technically never beaten Seth. He didn't win
Mhm.
that match. He was DQ'd. How are they going to go on with Brock and Roman part 972? Like,
The only thing I can think is that it like Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam. I know they're probably going to push it until next year's WrestleMania, but I don't want that.
I think I heard that the plan for now, if Vince changes his mind every time the cat shits, he
I've never
like
heard that before.
I have a friend that used to say that all the time. Um, I I think the plan for now is to do Seth and Roman at next year's WrestleMania. But I mean, why not just go? It's so fresh right now. It's so fresh. We just had that amazing match, that amazing build up,
Mhm.
the him with the mind games with the Shield shit, saying Mox on TV instead of Ambrose. Like all of this is just they have lightning in a bottle and they're just letting it go. They're just, because they want to go with Brock.
I will say, like, WWE does not often do long-term storytelling, and they 100% are and have been for years with the Shield guys. Like, I'm sure if Ambrose was, if he was Ambrose still, if Moxley was still Ambrose,
Mhm.
they would still be telling that story of like the Shield guys, because arguably, not even arguably, I think they're probably the most successful faction in that the three members of the faction have all gone on to have amazing careers, and that never happens.
They were all world champs. All
All
of them
world
were world
champs.
champs in that company alone. Like,
Mhm. The only, like, the New Day still has a chance of like reaching that level, because I mean they're just missing Xavier Woods now at this point, and it also depends on what they do with poor Biggie, but I'm
Big E
hopeful.
got robbed.
Yeah, I am forever hopeful, because I have to be for my mental health.
We'll get to the men's later, but my one comment on right now is Big E got screwed.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, when initially the Seth Roman's match ended in that DQ, I was like, but the fact that Roman held on to him so much longer and was like yelling, like, he's made me do this, and sold it for me. Like, I love that, because like clearly Seth has his number in more ways than one, and then the whole thing with hitting him with the chair, just it
yeah,
fantastic.
like the exact same scene of when Seth turned on the Shield, like the from behind with it was just, man, like they get a lot wrong anymore. Like they did, like that company gets a lot wrong, but that was just so right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not even a huge Roman Reigns fan. I never have been. Like
Yes.
he wasn't even my favorite Shield member. He was my third favorite. Like I don't know. I think it was just done so well, and I wish that they were going with it through WrestleMania. I hate that they're not, because I'm so sick. I'm so sick of seeing Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'm just over it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
Lashley and Lesnar was awesome. Go with that. Like keep going with that. That was amazing.
that was, and I would love to see a match between the two of them where someone doesn't get involved.
Mhm.
Um, the only the only way I want to see another Lesnar versus Roman match is if it's like a Paul Heyman on a pole, or like him hanging over the ring in a shark cage or whatever.
I was just gonna say the Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shark Tank. Don't even put him in a cage. Put him in a tank. Sharks
Or
are swimming
Shark Cage,
around
I
him.
meant.
No, I like this idea more. I
Told you
think
my
Paul
brain was
Heyman can
fried.
really, I think he could really sell, being circled by sharks.
Oh God, don't pay attention to me. My brain's fried. I'm just gonna sit here quietly and let Sabrina take over.
Yeah. No, I think, and I think most people agree that that was probably match of the night.
Roman
Followed,
and Seth.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would argue that the women's Royal Rumble came right after that, like as a second.
I I'm like so close between that and Lashley and Lesnar.
Mhm.
They're for different reasons. Like I thought the women's rumble was not the greatest wrestling match, but it was entertaining. And then like Lesnar and Lashley was just a great wrestling match. Like those suplexes were hard to watch. Like I thought
Yeah.
Lashley broke his neck like 6 different times.
Yeah. I think so. this Royal Rumble had had 3 really good matches, I think, like it being the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, the Brock Lesnar, and Lashley, there we go, and the Women's Royal Rumble. I have a lot of feelings about the men's, but
so do a lot of people, according to what I've been seeing the past like 5 days.
Yeah, like I zoned out. We'll get to that, but like with the Women's Rumble, I was shocked that they did not pull from any of their NXT talent for either Rumble. But like, I mean, they had, the reports are that they had Io Shirai backstage in case they needed her, like in case someone got hurt or something.
Yeah.
Or tested positive for COVID. But like I thought for sure we'd be seeing her or Rochelle Gonzalez, or Dakota Kai, like one of those 3, because specifically Dakota Kai, they've been talking about moving her up to the main roster, which I think she'll do well, especially if she brings like the unhinged character that she has. Or at least the last time I saw the unhinged character, because I cannot stand watching NXT right now.
Oh no. I heard enough about last night's show that I'm so glad I stopped watching.
I didn't hear anything, and
it's too much. I'll tell you later because it's just too much to get into right now.
Okay.
Like it was
Bad.
Sexist, awful bullshit. So
Great.
yeah, like a Mandy Rose fell. I'll tell you the fun one real quick. So a Mandy Rose fell on somebody's lap and he got a boner. Haha, funny. Like, yep. When I heard that, I was like the Peter Griffin gif where he's in the theater. He's like, done. Like that. Just yeah. That's the one that I heard that I was like, oh my god. Oh,
so glad that we're jumping 20 years into the past.
Yeah, there's gonna be bra and panty matches on there within a month, I bet. Like,
I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. I don't want to have to show up and like protest outside being like, stop this nonsense.
It's so awful that NXT, like old NXT, like Black and Gold, was such a monumental step forward for women's wrestling. They had the best women's roster in wrestling, period. Like they had the best women's, and now it is just Bruce Pritchard and Vince are taking a hold of it, and it has gone back like 25 years, and it's such a slap in the face to Baszler and Asuka and Bayley and Charlotte and Io, and like it's such
everyone,
like Paige and
every
like
woman who's gone through there and worked their tail off to make sure that we left like the shitty storylines and gimmicks in the past where they didn't even belong there. Like they belong in a garbage can.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember when the women's wrestling matches were arguably the best matches of the night on takeovers?
Oh yeah.
Like arguably the best matches of the night. And all the chants you would hear would be women's wrestling, and like it was just such a leap forward. And that, like, I started watching again in 2012, but I really got committed in like 2014, 2015. Like I think 2015 it probably was, when I saw a four-way match between Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky.
Yeah.
And Sasha won the belt in that match. And I remember when it came on, because we were still in the Divas era in the main roster, and I see like the women are coming out, and I'm like, ugh. And I immediately like checked out and started doing something else, because they were like piss break matches. They used to be, because it used to, for like most people, it's because they were boring, or other reasons because they would infuriate me. And I remember seeing this, and I just happened to look up and saw like that these four women were incredible. And I was like, that's when I really got hooked back onto it. And to hear that NXT 2.0 is doing this shit with like Mandy and like the gym, or was she a gymnast, the Olympian, I forget her name, with being like a sugar baby, and like that's her gimmick. Like I want to fucking vomit. Like I just want to fucking vomit.
Like, I thought they sent Mandy Rose back down to NXT to become a better wrestler, not to make her worse.
I think that was probably the original plan when she went, because it was still black and gold, and it was
Yeah.
still all, and then it wasn't. And now she's falling on a dude's lap and he's getting a boner. Ha ha, arousal humor. Ooh. Like,
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
yeah. But anyway, enough about depressing wrestling that doesn't exist in my mind. Women's Rumble.
Yes. So my friend Priscilla, who hasn't watched WWE in many, 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 many years. She watched TNA for and / Impact for a while. But the Rumble was the first time she tuned in years to like and watched a full pay-per-view. And that includes WrestleManias, one because she heard me ramble on so much about, women's wrestling specifically. So I will say she was blown away by the wrestling she saw throughout, minus a few things. Like she didn't really enjoy it. She didn't even really enjoy the men's rumble, which it just wasn't, it was not good wrestling. Anyway,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But like absolutely blown away. It helped a lot that she loves Sailor Moon, like that is her fandom. So the second she saw Sasha Banks, whom she had never really seen before, she was
wow.
Yeah, she was just like, I don't know who she is, but I love her. And then when Sasha does all this amazing wrestling on top of it, she's just like, that's my girl.
Yeah, Sasha's she's just incredible. Like
Yeah.
I can't go on enough about like Sasha Banks, because she's just her whole everything, her character, her promos, like her wrestling, her attitude, like she's the full package.
She truly is. And then our second Royal Rumble entrant would be Melina. And I don't think you didn't remember her, right?
Did I lose you? I'm sorry.
Oh, can you hear me?
My whole screen went blank.
Uh-oh. I can still see you.
I can't see you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I
Okay.
don't know what's happening.
Well, we're gonna pause for a moment. So Melina enters. Got the technical difficulties squared away there.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So Melina enters, and you don't remember her, right? Or you didn't see her? She was with Eminem.
I don't think I was watching then. I think she was gone before I started to watch. Like,
Okay.
she definitely wasn't an Attitude Era, and
No.
she wasn't there.
What was it? Not the Attitude Adjustment, what comes after the Attitude Era? Not PG.
Ruthless Aggression.
That's what she was part of.
Yeah, I missed that whole thing. I stopped watching then.
As memory serves, because I was in and out during that time, I believe she was a decent wrestler. I believe, and she's been wrestling since. Like she was in Impact, I think specifically for a while. But her going out, and she's wanted to be back in WWE, like for a Rumble or something like that for a while. Like she's campaigned to get back, but she had like upset some people, I believe, while she was there. I'm pretty sure she's the one. But
So that's why she was crying when she got back in the ring, I'm assuming then.
Oh yeah. It was like a really emotional thing. I saw an interview with her backstage about how thankful she was to be part of it and everything. I don't know if when she was eliminated, if she was meant, it kind of looked like she slipped, but that could also have just, it could have been that, or she was supposed to go out.
Mm.
It didn't look great either way. And like, it was just, it was a bizarre way to begin it. Sasha like really saved it. I feel like when she did the mockery of her.
Oh God, her character can be such an asshole sometimes. I love it.
Yeah. But for the most part, with one notable exception, the women who came back, really put over the women who were there, or like had storylines that continued previously, like Ivory coming out and going after like Rhea Rip at all. That version of Ivory, that was beautiful. And I mean, Ivory's like an older gal.
She's 60.
She's
I just heard she's 60 years old.
which she looks, I texted you me and was like, Ivory basically looks the same. Like she looks great.
Yeah, like where the hell is she 60? She looks like she's in her 40s. Holy shit.
She runs an animal rescue. I have a theory that people who work with animals just like stay young.
Probably. But oh my god, when Right to Censor music hit and she came, oh, as the kids say, I popped.
Yeah. As the kids say. Yeah,
that
it
was
was
just incredible.
I was so excited to hear those car alarms.
And she was still going with her promo as she's getting thrown over the, oh my god, she was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
and even
brilliant.
backstage, her little like the interview they did with her, beautiful, excellent, love it, love Ivory, she's amazing.
Every Rumble needs that like little comedy spot. And for that to be the women's oh my god, it was perfect. Like it was just chef's kiss. Like
I also really enjoyed the Molly Holly part when she came out and Nikki attacked her, Nikki ASH, and being Scottish says to her, there can only be one superhero, and so there can only be one Highlander. or no, there can only be one from the Highlander.
Funny.
I was just like, oh yes, this is gorgeous. Also, what a great way to make sure that Nikki is a hated heel.
Yeah.
Going after our beloved Molly Holly in such a way. How dare you?
One of like the
Mighty
most
Molly,
like cinnamon roll human beings on the planet. Like
that, like Molly Holly is the one who, I believe it was Beth Phoenix that she like lent the money to go to wrestling school and like helped get her gear and stuff like that. And like there's just stories like that with Molly Holly where she checks in on people that she helps out, and like just such a peach. Such a
so
peach.
Kind. That's just so kind.
Yeah. Like, I've never heard anyone say a mean thing about Molly Holly.
No. Like, never.
She's just one of those people. I'm trying to think. Michelle Mccool, I'm not her biggest fan. I think she's better now than she was during her era, which she's not a great wrestler, but she wasn't bad.
She does a good job of coming in and being like the like Kane or Taker type version, like that kind of person to come in and just kind of like be the big one to like beat people down. Like
yeah, she's got a big torso, like not big, like a long torso.
Yeah, she's a long human being.
Like I never realized before, I think like I or maybe I just forget every year like how like long she is.
Yeah, she's a very tall woman, very long everywhere. Like
yeah. Undertaker definitely has a type because I think she was his first wife, Sarah. Very much so the same type of like tall blonde, like very, very similar features.
Oh, I don't remember ever seeing her. If I saw her, maybe I'd remember from when I was a kid.
Oh, but you don't remember the DDP storyline when DDP premiered as the stalker in WWE?
I just lost you for a second. All I heard was you don't remember, and then you froze.
You don't remember nothing.
Sorry.
No, when DDP debuted as the stalker, he was stalking Undertaker's wife, and there was the cage match.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I must be getting old. There's so many things that have just
I mean, I think a lot of people try really hard to put that out of their minds. None more so than DDP, but that's how I was introduced to him.
Yeah, I wasn't a WCW kid, so I sadly it was just a WWF at the time nerd that was I was not a WC. The only time I really ever saw WCW when I was younger was I had a friend, Mikey, that he used to come over and watch wrestling with me all the time. Even if like the room wasn't like filled with all our friends, like it would usually at least be me and Mikey. And he watched both. Like he watched GCW too. So he I remember during commercials he used to turn on Nitro, and me being like the little WWF snob that I was like, I want to watch this. And like I kind of wish I did experience it at that time.
No, you don't. Disco Inferno.
Well, I mean like the good stuff. Like
Yeah.
when like NWO like first came around before they had like 197 members. And because my husband, when the network first came out,
Oh yeah.
he went back and he watched like all of that era's Nitro. So that's when I finally did get to see it. But holy shit, man, like hearing NWO's music like every 30 seconds, I was like, oh God, like this is just too much. This is ridiculous that they have so many people in this faction. And you could see why the company failed. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was the inmates running the asylum. It really
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Like I was just, whew. And like if you thought women's wrestling was bad in WWF at the time, like so much worse in WCW, so much worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had Vince Russo who hates women. No one hates women more than Vince Russo. So,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
he always just made them look foolish or like, ugh, just awful. Like he just made women look terrible. He really did.
They had Molly Holly and they used her as a valet.
There you go.
They had Molly Holly. She was a valet.
Yeah.
Insanity. Right. Insanity.
But yeah, that spot in the Rumble, that was, if nothing else would get Nikki almost the super villain, because that's what I'm calling her now.
Oh yeah, the super villain.
If nothing else was going to get her over as a heel, that was the perfect way to do it, because it's Molly Holly. Like,
she's a sweet baby angel.
I know, she's like the mama bear now. Like she takes care of all of them.
Yeah. Yes. And thus we need to take care of Molly Holly. Like
right, at all costs. Like,
yeah,
protective circle right around her.
She's the Betty White of wrestling, everyone.
Oh God, that's a great analogy.
Yep. You heard it here first.
That's perfect.
Yeah. I don't think there's a bigger compliment a human being can get.
No, there really isn't. No one than being told you're the Betty White of anything. That's like the highest praise.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of Betty's, so she wasn't in the Rumble, but I just want to point out real fast, Beth Phoenix's look was an homage to Luna. And as I specifically looked up Beth's Instagram afterwards to see if I was correct in that. I was so happy when I saw was because I noticed her like the makeup at first, and I was like, huh. And then like the hair, and I was like, I see you. I know what you're doing. I support this.
Yeah, that side by side picture was really cool. Then you really is like, okay, yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Yes. And I would absolutely, I know Beth was wrestling that night, but I also wanted her in the Rumble.
Yeah, because she's been a high spot in all the Rumbles so far. Even and like how badass she looked, full of blood. Like obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt, but I mean that just made her look like even more of a badass than she already is. Like
yeah, it truly did. And then of course we had like some folks that came back, like Cameron came back, and I love that they used her to further the Sonya Naomi storyline. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That's like, from what Cameron, maybe she's much better now as a wrestler, but she wasn't great before. And so using her, like, she gets to be in the Rumble, she has a memorable spot, and it furthers, like, the Women's Royal Rumble really furthered a lot of storylines or put ends on them, because Mickie James coming out to her Impact music, holding the women's championship or the Knockouts championship, like in her full get, like fantastic.
She looked incredible. Like she looked
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
And then I think she eliminated Michelle McCool, right? Like, wasn't,
Yes.
yeah, because that was like wrapping up an old rivalry they had where they called her Piggy James and like all this other stuff. Like, yes, throw that stuff out.
Yes, because Mickey James is just so fat. Like, oh my God, that story, that whole thing. That we could save that for like a retro, like if we talk about old stuff, because I
I'm
have a
sure
lot
we
of.
will.
I wasn't watching then, but I have feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I definitely harbor a lot of ill will towards Michelle McCool because of that, which is not fair because she didn't write that.
I saw that like they hated doing that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Like that none of them involved, not that they just did not agree with it, did not like it,
Yeah.
didn't like the whole body shaming aspect of it. And like that so I don't really blame any of the performers that were doing what they were told to do. But I know that they weren't happy with it. I remember seeing
Yeah.
that like they just didn't want to say any of that stuff. They just felt it was like cruel and just going a little too far.
Yeah. Which all of that is completely correct. It was
Yep.
cruel. It went too far. How many people were sitting at home being like, Mickey James, if they're calling her Piggy James, what are they saying about me? Like so many things. It also like to have it was Michelle McCool and Layla, right? I think who were
I think that sounds right. Like I said, I wasn't watching back then, but I've seen enough stuff on it
yeah.
that
Like most, I don't know how many people know this, but Mickey James is Native American. I believe she grew up on a reservation. So it's also not a great look to
yeah,
have this, white blonde woman doing that kind of stuff to like the only native, like indigenous woman on that show. Like it's not great. Like with the
I
body
mean,
shaming.
to be fair, WWE does not have a great track record with their white superstars
No.
being, great to their non-white superstars. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of bad stereotyping and just full out racism. So
Oh yeah. Lots of racism. Lots.
yeah, I mean, just some of like the Triple H and Booker T shit during that.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of.
Yep. Yeah. Virgil with Million Dollar Man. Like there's just
There's so many things.
there's a long history of some fucked up shit that like Vince thought was real funny. Like
Mm-hmm. Like, sir,
even as a
no.
kid, like thinking like that doesn't seem right. Like
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
like that.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised at no point did he try to make Mustafa Ali a terrorist. Like,
Well, I mean, he's asking for his release, and apparently he was asked to do a storyline that was so bad that it went against his beliefs that
mm-hmm.
he asked for his release. And I have seen a lot of people speculating that that might have been what it was.
Yeah. Like, ugh. Mustafa Ali is another sweet baby angel of a human.
Yeah, I love his Twitter. He's just such a good person. He's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is.
Great husband, great. Just he's just a I have so I have feelings there too. He's just a good
mhm.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and he just has like that air about him where it's just like I'm a trustworthy decent person.
Yeah.
He has a
Yeah,
very kind face.
he just strikes me as like a really like pure soul, like just a
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, so the other one that like I think is notable who came back and will most likely will not be staying around, Sarah Logan. That was a big shock. I was surprised. Like she said after she was released and had her baby that she's retired from wrestling. And fun fact, so Sarah and her husband, who's one of the Viking Raiders, have Eric, have a farm, and on the farm lives a certain Ruby Soho with them.
oh, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, she says it's great for her mental health. Like Ruby has said that.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of Sarah Logan and Liv,
mhm.
that brings me to the part that made me want to like punch walls. That I'm so sick of them bringing back the Bella twins to bury newer current talent. I am so over their little stepdaddy having them come in and let them do whatever the fuck they want. I know so many I know people like them. I know that they like furthered women's whatever, but I don't completely agree with that. Um every time they come back, it they're like either some of the last standing, or they're eliminating newer talent, or they're eliminating very over talent. Oh my god, when they threw those two over, oh, the rage that I felt inside of me was like, we didn't even get to see a proper reunion between the two of them, and you like kind of caught their hug outside of the ring,
Mhm.
but they made sure as shit to show the Bella twin. Like, oh my god, I can't with those two. Like, this is when I messaged you and I'm like, this is why I hate them. I'm sure that they are fine people in real life, but as far as like them coming back in the ring or their characters, I have no need. I can't. I'm so sick of it.
I really don't understand. So, like, I'm fine with them eliminating Sarah because she's not an active talent. Um, and
Live.
but like the way it should have gone is they eliminate Sarah, Liv gets pissed and eliminates the Bella twins. Or like, you know, I'm also fine with Brie eliminating Nikki because that again is an old storyline, wrapping that up.
Should have died in the womb.
Yeah, yeah. And when she eliminated her at one of the other rumbles, like the first or the second one. But then like Liv eliminates Brie. Like that's how that should have gone. Um because I don't think that the Bella twins are going to come back and face Liv and Sarah. Like that's not a thing that is going to happen. And
No,
that
we're
would
not
be
going to see them until the next Rumble when they eliminate the next like up and coming or majorly over star.
mhm.
Like that, we'll
I
see them
also
once a year to like be the main focus for whatever goddamn reason, and then they'll be gone until the next Rumble.
my other
Oof.
issue, like, I don't know why they insist on at this point as booking the Bella twins as heels because the people who are there to see them, they
Don't
want
see
to
them.
their faces, like just like a lot of people when they like the Bellas exist so much outside of wrestling at this point and people are so like involved with them. They're almost like the Kardashians of wrestling. Yeah, yeah. I'm right though, like how their careers are like they're kind of the Kardashians of wrestling. And granted, I don't like the Kardashians and I do like the Bella twins, not necessarily as wrestlers, but like outside the
Yeah,
ring.
go away. Stop burying talent.
Yeah,
Bye
but they have that like that following, the Bella army, and they don't see them as heels. Like stop doing that. Like I
They
get it.
won't.
Especially Nikki, I think really likes playing the villain. But just freaking stop. But
Okay, I
yes.
got that out of my system. I've been holding that in since Saturday, but
Yeah. So when it got to the um the end of the rumble, when there's only like when number 29 had come out, I immediately text Megan saying like because I'm sure that like a big I'm shocked there wasn't a big return like with um like even Alexa Bliss, Bailey, why am I blanking? Evans, Lacey Evans, Asuka. I thought for sure. And so I
definitely Alexa and Bailey were the two that I thought that was like my for sure, like, oh, there's no way I'm wrong. Like
mhm,
they're definitely gonna be there.
yeah. And so I assume that they were shitting on Shayna and she was not going to be in the Rumble. And I'm throwing a fit, texting Megan, like, I'm going to lose my shit when it's not Shayna that comes out. And when I was elated because now I have hope she's winning. And I was just like, oh my God. I started losing my mind. Like,
And I immediately apologized to you. And I'm like, sorry, she's losing.
it's like, no, it could happen. It could happen. I had the hope. And I wanted it so bad.
I wish that I said on the last podcast that I was predicting Ronda and Brock to win both of the Rumbles, because I would have looked like a fucking genius, but I didn't say it. I only said it in my personal life to my friends. And I wish I said it publicly where this is published for all of the world.
Yeah. So Ronda got a big pop coming back. Like, I don't think fans as a whole, not the ones who are active online, but I don't think fans as a whole are upset that Ronda Rousey won. I think people are very upset, no matter, like, on both sides, that Brock won. I mean, it's not the worst call. It's not the worst call, but it's not great.
There wasn't a need for it. He doesn't have to win the Rumble to get his match with Roman Reigns. He's Brock Lesnar. He can just say, I'm Brock Lesnar. I want my match with Roman. And he gets his match with Roman. They easily could have used that to have Big E win and go have Lashley and E. Like that could have been main event on either Saturday or Sunday. Well, okay, let's be real. We all know that they're going to do Sunday night. It's going to be Brock and Roman.
Yeah.
Saturday night easily could have been Lashley and Big E. Like, and everybody wanted that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
The Women's Royal Rumble at the end, while it was likely that Ronda would be winning, there were still like contenders in there. The final five, it could have gone anyway. Like, from at a believable standpoint, it could have been anyone in there.
Because what was it? Was it Rhea?
No. I think I know Shayna was in there because
Shayna, Ronda, Charlotte, Bianca.
Yeah.
And was it Rhea? Was she the fifth?
I think so. I think
or Lita. Or was it Lita?
I'm trying to remember faces as well. That doesn't help because Ronda came in earlier. But like there were enough people where it was believable. Even the last six, like, believable. Like, they had most of their like this. I like the flow that they, with the exception of like the very opening of the match. I liked the flow that they had of like when they interjected returning people who clearly were not going to be sticking around. The men's Royal Rumble, it was obvious.
I know, like, here comes Robert Roode. It's like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna win. Like, oh, here comes Ziggler. Like, oh yeah, there's your winner this year. Like,
I would not be upset by any means if Dolph Ziggler won. Like, I like Dolph Ziggler, but he's not winning the Royal Rumble.
What's gonna happen?
Drew McIntyre could have. He could have. I would have loved it. They didn't go that way.
No.
They put the cat daddy down.
Oh, you had two very bad disappointments in two Rumble matches, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Like, it's all their fault. They hyped me up. They made me believe that they were fucking over Shayna, and then they made me believe that Drew McIntyre was out injured until after the Rumble.
That was a legitimate surprise. I didn't think he'd be back. Same thing with Sasha. I think Sasha was like rumored to be out for a while too. So that was
she popped up on SmackDown. So like that. Yeah. So that wasn't so much of a shock. Though when I saw Shane McMahon come out, I was like, well, Megan's gonna be excited.
Let me clarify. So I always will have a soft spot for Shane McMahon. However, I don't want to see him be one of the last four at 52 fucking years old in the Royal Rumble, sweating his ass off. Like, I like Shane McMahon. I do. Like, I like Attitude Era Shane McMahon. I like, him and Angle. I like GM face Shane McMahon. Like, I like all that. I don't like winning best in the world tournament Shane McMahon. I don't like booking yourself to be in the final four of the Royal Rumble, Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
And I don't like, before the release or whatever that happened today, I don't like the possibility of Bobby Lashley versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
Like that would, in real life, if that were to happen, that would just be Bobby Lashley murdering Shane McMahon.
He did.
Like, I don't need to see a murder on television. Like, I just don't.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I felt like I needed to put that footnote there because yes, I had my crush on Shane McMahon when I was a teenager. That, like, there's always the little shadow of it when I see him, like, oh, Shane. But no, I don't want to see him being the final four at 52 years old. Like, no.
I do always love his little dance when he comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I love that part. Like,
I don't mind him as like a nostalgia part of it. If he just
Mhm.
came out and, you know, did his little dance and did his really bad punches and did like a coast to coast, and then somebody caught him and threw him out and like,
Yeah.
yay, did his thing and it's over. Like that's the Shane I wouldn't mind seeing in the Rumble, not trying to make himself look like a legitimate, like, possible winner.
Yeah.
It's like, my dude, you are in your 50s. Like, no.
Yeah. And
Ugh.
not like other people have been in their 50s. Like, there are some people that like enter the Rumble and you're like, all right, yeah, I could see you like kicking a little ass. Not Shane McMahon.
Yeah, like Shane McMahon in his 50s is not the same as like DDP in his 50s. That's two different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the same as DDP in his 60s. Let's get real.
Yeah. Or even like, I mean, not my favorite person, but like even Ric Flair, like not the same.
No.
Not the same.
Sting's another one that comes to mind. Like, the Sting obviously does not look like the Sting he was back in WCW, but in a match and look believable. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
not Shane McMahon against like Brock and Drew and oh god.
Can I kind of really wish that after Shane after Shame came out, um yeah, out came the Mrs. Dad,
Oh dear God.
and they like eliminate each other. I would love that. That
The
would,
little thing that he did, like
the
they put him up.
fisticuffs. He fisticuffs that Shane. They
Um,
both go over the top rope. Perfect.
my
See, I can
my
write
first
this. Why
thought,
can't Shane?
like my first thought when he came out was, oh dear God, no, please don't let this be Owens' feud. That's what I thought they were doing. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, my KO deserves so much better than another feud with Shane McMahon. Please don't do this. Because he went immediately towards, you know, Owens. Like, that was what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so afraid that that was going to be Kevin Owens' new feud. I don't know what his feud's going to be now, but I'm glad it's not Shane. I can't see that again.
Whatever he's doing, it's going to be something in the realm of with Seth,
Yeah.
like, which I'm fine with. I think those two work great together, whether it's on the, like, that's a good give and take there.
Yeah, their chemistry is I mean, Owens has great chemistry with almost everybody he works with. Like with Sami, when he was with Jericho,
Oh
like
my God, when he was with Jericho, that was gold.
yeah,
That, in my opinion, was the best work that Jericho has done in his career. And I really like Jericho's career. Like,
yeah,
I think he will probably be remembered as one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's a great storyteller, both in and out of the ring.
that, and I have never seen anyone evolve and change their character so much, but still remain them at their core.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can think back to, you know, like Jericho and WCW with the, you know, like they're all against me and like the list of the 1,001 holds, and
Mm.
then, you know, like the Y2J and like everything. He like keeps evolving, but he still is at his core Jer. It just, when people say he's the greatest of all time, I mean, he really might be. He
Yeah.
really might be the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
In the ring, on the mic, character work, like he's got it. No one else really has him touched. Like,
Yeah. He's in a league all of his own. Like he really is. And like it's he also he has his wrestling skills are solid and strong as well. It's not like he has all this stuff but not that. He is a total package.
Yeah,
He's kind of Sasha is kind of like him because she does like change her look. Her she's always Sasha Banks, the boss at the core, but or the blueprint. So I watched so after the Royal Rumble, they had that Becky documentary thing. Like I did, and I learned a couple of things. One of them being that for the most part, Becky has free range over her promos. Like occasionally they'll want her to say something very specific, but she said usually like they let her say what she wants. And I found out that Becky also was the one who gave Seth the idea to dress like he does.
God, I love it.
Because like their style, now that they're both heels, is somewhat similar. Like it's complementary. I love her outfits. Absolutely love them. Like this is fantastic. Like I love everything she's doing.
I just finally saw the one from Monday night because I told you I had to run upstairs and I thought I'd be like running back down in time, but I missed it. And I've been hearing about everybody talking about her outfit from Monday. And when I saw it, like, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but
she
the
reminded me
shirt
of
she
the
had
Queen
on
of
it,
England.
the second I looked at it, I thought of Seinfeld, and I was like, I don't want to be a pirate. And I said that to Brian. He just started cracking up laughing. He goes, "Oh my god, the shirt! You're right." Like that's all I thought it was, the pirate shirt from Seinfeld.
I just thought of like she reminded me of the Queen. Like she looked very like royal, especially with how her hair was. I just loved everything she was doing there. And then like the bit with Rhonda, and then more so the bit with Lita. Holy shit balls. Like, yes, give me that match. Give me many matches between the two of them. Yes.
I'm a little upset that we're not going to get the continuation of Rhonda and Becky, that they're leaning towards Rhonda and Charlotte, which doesn't really make sense because the whole feud originally in 2019, yeah, because it was before the pandemic, it started with Becky and Rhonda with their back and forth on Twitter, and it was Charlotte who got inserted into that. Because remember, like, it wasn't Vince that came out and was like, "Oh, that triple threat," and put her in it. So it from a storyline standpoint, it makes more sense. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
To go with Rhonda choosing Becky to be like, I want you one-on-one. Like, I want to show that because also, if you remember, they botched the ending of the match where Rhonda's shoulder wasn't completely down.
Yeah.
So that can play it. I don't know. Like you said, they're not great at long-term storytelling. So
they're saying that. So the rumbles after the rumble have been that next year the plan is to have Becky versus Rhonda.
What is with this next year shit? Like next year it's gonna be Roman and Seth, and next year it's.
I also don't so there's two things I don't understand about like long-term booking is good in a way, but it's also bad because at any time these people can get injured. Also Rhonda's only signed, for my understanding, to a 1-year contract. 1 year, not
Just
2.
his next rumble. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if they do it for an extension to that Mania, she should then lose to Becky, which I don't think that is a bad idea. I think, again, having Becky beat her clean really cements Becky even further as like that tough, that person, like
the man.
It'll elevate her beyond the man, beyond big time Bex. Like I think that'll do wonders for her. But I don't necessarily see, they're gonna have to pull something out of their butts for. I don't think that Charlotte versus Ronda would be a bad match, but I want it to make sense.
And it doesn't.
Not yet. Like I don't. What is Charlotte gonna come out and do? Like, I'm not gonna say that. What is she gonna do? Come out and like, I don't know, mock Ronda's baby? Like
I mean, technically she was in that match too, but it wasn't really about Charlotte. The most that it was about Charlotte was, oh, look, Charlotte got inserted into another match.
which
It,
furthered the stuff between Becky and Charlotte.
yes, it had nothing to do really with Ronda and Charlotte at all. I mean,
Mhm.
even think back do you remember the one segment where they were all fighting in the back and Becky and Ronda got put in the back of that cop car and they just look at each other and then they realized it's each other and like just started beating each other. That was one of the most like funniest, best moments of that whole feud. Like their whole feud was them. It was all about like, I don't know. I
Is
just don't
there a truck
understand.
backing up?
Oh, you know what? There might be. They're tearing down a house in the
Okay.
alley.
I thought I
Sorry.
was losing my mind. It's okay. Um, also, like, I kind of really want, like, I don't want Shayna Baszler in another tag team, but I would not be upset if Ronda and Shayna became the scariest tag team to ever exist.
I'd like to see them fight,
Yeah, I would also love that. Like,
but Shayna would lose.
no,
You'd have, she would. They're not gonna
no,
have Shayna go over Ronda.
no.
Sorry. Just
This is
like I
my fantasy book. Shayna wins, damn it.
too I mean it wouldn't it, anybody that's fighting Ronda's not gonna win. Like
I also I wouldn't be surprised since they are friends in real life and like really good friends. If I think Ronda actually credits Shayna as one of her inspirations in MMA. And then Shayna's the one who got Ronda interested in wrestling as well. Um, but I
well, they
wouldn't,
were part of the other four horsewomen, weren't they? It
yep,
was
four horsewomen,
Shayna, Ronda, and
Jessamine and Maria Shafir,
I
something like
wonder
that.
if this will eventually lead to that match everybody's been talking about for years, where it was like those horsewomen against WWE's horsewomen.
Well, WWE has released two of their horsewomen, like from MMA. I believe Maria is actually listed on AEW's website right now as,
Uh,
or at least was as one of their roster members, or at least she had a shirt up, which either way is a little surprising. Um, she's married to Roderick Strong as well. Um, and then Jessamine, she is when she was released, she's moved back to Kentucky, I believe it is, and
yeah.
she has a okay gamer streaming, and she makes, Ronda's even said like she made a lot more money off of streaming than she ever made wrestling. I think also in MMA. Like she has a nice following for streaming, and it's something she'd be doing anyway. So
You can make a lot streaming. Oh my, I saw the top 100 list that was leaked out of what those people made. And if you're good at what you do, I mean, you can make a good amount of money doing that.
yeah. And I'm not into gaming. However, like I follow Jessamine on YouTube because sometimes she puts out other things. Also, she is like the what is it? She calls herself a mima for like various animals, including Mia Yim's dog and um the dog that I think it was her and Shayna when they were living together first got the dog staying with Shayna and Charlie now, or Dakota Kai. I know way too much about these people's lives. Uh, it's all on YouTube. It's fine. Damn it.
Still rolling me, damn it. No.
Right? It's still real me. God, sometimes I see people like just post crap on like it's specifically now it seems like the one AEW Facebook group,
Mhm.
the one that we're both a part, like, and sometimes I'm like I just want to say that like it's still real to me, damn it.
I posted that gift the other day. Somebody was going off about like, I think it was like MJF, and they were like, I talking about like how they hated him and how he cheats and blah blah blah.
Was it him with
And
that kid? Was it him giving the finger to the kid and the kid giving him the finger?
No, it was just
Oh.
in general, like because people. Or no. It was somebody posting about people, like how they always have to talk about how, um, like Adam Cole's body, or like how, they hate MJF because he can never win without cheating, blah blah blah. And the guy that made the post was saying something about like, it's all a work, and like and all the like blah blah blah. And the comment that I left, I was like, man, sometimes I see some of these posts and all I think of and I posted the gif of the it's so real to me, damn it. Like, I don't understand how people can't separate the character from the human in 2022. Like, kayfabe really isn't a thing anymore. Like
Except for
MJF, yeah,
children.
right. Like MJF stays in character, yes, but every like normal human adult understands that that's not him, that's his character. I'm sure he's a really nice guy in real life. Like, I bet he was one of the nicest people. Usually the nicest people play the best heels.
Yeah. And I heard this crazy this crazy story from I don't think MJF was signed yet, because there are interviews of MJF out of character. And it's a 180.
I
Like
can imagine.
180. You kind of have to look to find them. They're easier to find though than ones of Orange Cassidy. There's like, although if you want to have yourself a good time, put into YouTube Orange Cassidy out of character, and you will find a video of him at the Jersey Shore with like this long surfer boy hair, drunk
No.
out of his mind, holding a fish, being
No.
interviewed by someone. It is hysterical. It is bizarre. And it's just like, oh, you don't want people seeing this.
Oh my
So
god,
obviously I'm telling everyone.
I need to find it.
Yeah. I will send it to you. It is oh I can see why he doesn't talk in interview. I'm kidding. Like, he is hysterical. And I love everything about both MJF and Orange Cassidy. And how they, like, I don't want to say live their gimmicks, but like for cameras live their gimmicks, and like with fans. Like, they don't. Adam Cole definitely breaks his character when he does meet and greets, which there's nothing wrong with that. Because it's 2022. Like, we know that's not who he is.
Yeah, and I think also the fact that the Chugs channel exists,
Yeah.
that there are probably people that are part of his community and pay money to his channel every month, that he's not going to be a heel to, like, on the off chance that someone is subbing for $5, $10, or $20, or I think it's $5, $15, and $20. I don't know. There's different tier levels.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna risk being a dick to someone that's paying money to him on Twitch every month too.
Yeah.
And he also gets a lot of bit donations and a lot of gift subs. We were looking at the amount of like his totals for, they show on streamers channels the highest bit donator, the highest gift subber, and everything for the week. And it's crazy. Like, by far he gets more than like established streamers that we watch. Like, one of the streamers we watch is in the top 100 of people who stream, and he doesn't even get that many gift subs or bits per week as Adam Cole, who's already a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's not as, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. God knows I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, it's not his main source of income or his job like it is for someone that streams full time.
Yeah.
So he's probably not going to risk being out of character or being in character and an asshole to someone that is giving him like a substantial amount of supplement income, like an extra income.
Also, like, I feel like being an asshole all the time would just be difficult for him. Like,
yeah, so
like,
nice.
yeah, like, and it takes a certain amount of commitment for when a kid comes up to you specifically, or like someone who has like a special circumstance. Like, that's a special kind of person. The kind of people who love MJF are the kind of folk, not like, there's a restaurant that you pay to go to where the servers are mean to you.
Oh,
Those are the same kind of, like, what you're getting. Like, it's not a surprise to anyone.
Speaking of MJF.
Oh, yes. So we are, full disclosure, we're filming this on a Wednesday and it is time for Dynamite. And neither one of us want to miss MJF versus CM Punk. And maybe we'll get some Wardlow action.
I fully think that tonight is probably the night that Wardlow is going to finally make his decision on leaving him. It's got to be during the Punk match. I mean, MJF is going to beat Punk. Punk is going to put him over. Like MJF isn't losing to CM Punk. This is going to be Punk's first loss, just like Hangman was Brian's first loss.
Oh, yes.
So I called that too. I said a while ago, I think that Punk is first going to lose to MJF, and I think that like Hangman is going to beat Danielson for the first time, and that happened that one. So I bet you tonight. And I think Wardlow's going to get a little angry at the end of that match and not power bomb Punk, and it's going to turn into a thing, the feud for the pay-per-view.
Also, one other thing, I can't wait to see Danhausen chase, well, whatever he's doing, but also chasing around Britt Baker, being like, give me the teeth. Like, I need to see that. I need to see him hounding the dentist for teeth. Like, just put them in my jar.
They have to do it. They can't not do that. Like, that's just, it writes itself.
Yeah, I want to see it everywhere. I want a t-shirt with him begging her for teeth. I counted, by the way, of the t-shirts I could find and some of the hoodies. I have 33. I'm not going to stop. Some of them are close to retirement, but we will talk to you next week on Hello, Ladies.
Bye.
Bye.